Hey guys, this is Scott from the Forgot to Roll podcast. Welcome to another edition of ReWatching Star Trek Discovery. Today I'm going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 3, Context is for Kings. So I'm just going to start off by giving you guys the episode plot summary so you have an idea of what happened in this episode before I give you guys just my general thoughts about this episode. So let's just start off with that plot summary, which says 6 months into her sentence, Burnham is on an unexpected prison transport when a emergency forces her shuttle to be rescued by the USS Discovery. Spending several days on the ship, Burnham is ordered by its captain, the mysterious Gabriel Loca, to assist with a scientific assignment. Burnham overhears Lieutenant Paul Stamets, an astromicrobiologist who is leading the assignment, discuss an upcoming experiment with a colleague serving on another ship. Loca is soon informed of a incident on this Discovery's sister ship, the USS Glenn, that has killed the entire crew. Stamets leads a boarding party to investigate and finds the crew dead, horrendously twisted and mutilated, as well as a group of Klingons killed by an unknown creature. Loca later asks Burnham to work for him despite her sentence, explaining that he organized the circumstances that led her to him so that she could help develop a new spore-based propulsion system that could win the war. He also secretly had the creature transported aboard the Discovery. So that's the plot summary, guys. Sorry I didn't get through that. I probably pronounced all the names wrong, but that's the summary for the third episode of Star Trek Discovery. My thoughts about this episode was I like this episode. I like that we don't spend too much time. We kind of just skip over those 6 months of her having been in prison. I don't need to see her in prison, to be honest. But I like that we pick up with this new kind of mysterious technology. She at first thinks it's a weapon, but it turns out to apparently be a propulsion system, but we also don't know that for sure at this point in the season. Obviously, with me rewatching this, I know in hindsight what it leads to. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I think it's kind of interesting that this show called Star Trek Discovery takes till the third episode to show the USS Discovery, but that also kind of makes sense as how to kind of lead it in and how we keep this Discovery around for as long as it can be throughout the show. But yeah, we get its arrival, which I thought was a pretty cool way to introduce the ship and show its arrival by having to rescue Burnham's prison transfer shuttle. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like the alien we got. I think we eventually gets called the tardigrade, which was pretty cool. I like that thing. I like a big creature, I like that it's very CGI, but I think it kind of suits the style that this Star Trek has gone for, and kind of just, it doesn't feel too out of place in this world. So what else do I have written down? So there was a line that said Starfleet's first mutineer, which refers to Burnham, which I thought was really interesting. That I didn't know that she, I guess, is the first mutineer. I've never really thought about that in Star Trek canon or Starfleet canon in that sense, because I guess you don't think about that much, but it's kind of interesting to think that this character would be the first one in all Starfleet history to be a mutineer, and how that kind of is weird that it might not. I don't know if it does connect into the other shows at all, if there's ever mention of who the first mutineer ever was, but I think that's an interesting line and a kind of interesting dynamic that she is the first mutineer, and that's why she is so kind of like ostracized because of it, because it's, no one else has done it. Yeah, being a mutineer is pretty out there to start with, but she's the first one in Starfleet to do it, so that's just that extra little bit, kind of, that black sheep of the family kind of thing, and I find that an interesting dynamic to her character, and I like that they mentioned that in this episode. What else do I have written down, though? I like that, the reasoning for her having to stay on the ship, she was kind of hesitant at first. She's like, I don't help develop a weapon. But then, saying it's a propulsion system, and that kind of changes her mind a little bit. And she's like, yeah, well, I guess it would be a waste for me to just sit around in a prison, even though she does believe she has to pay for what she's done, which I like about her character too. I like that she's got this resolve to it, and yeah, I just really enjoyed the Burnham character. I like this captain introduction. I like that he's kind of a hard ass. I get some people's maybe resistance to him, but he's the general guy. He's the guy who has to win the war, and I kind of get that, and I like that dynamic, that switch up, because he's very different from all the other Star Trek captains we've gotten in the past, because he is that military guy. He is that one that's a little bit more about ending a war as opposed to maybe trying to find a peaceful resolution. He's more about let's just end it whatever way we have to, and I really like that interesting dynamic of him. I like the introduction of the mycelium spores. I think it's a cool kind of technology and way to introduce it into the canon. I like it also. I like that they keep it as like a black ops part of Starfleet, which is kind of how it maybe was never referred to before, and why this technology doesn't work out in the end, and why. And I like that concept and how they kind of tried to work around why we've never heard of this before in all the previous Star Trek ones, which technically take place after this one in the Star Trek timeline, which that can be a little just all over the place. But yeah, one of the last things I had written down just is that in this episode, they say the name of the episode in the episode. The captain says context is for king at one point, and that's my favorite thing in anything. It's just one of those cliche kind of movie tropes that I just love, or TV trope in this case, that I just really enjoy, because it's just kind of I just find it fun, and it's a little easier with this show because it seems that they've picked each of the episode names to particularly fall in this way, but I enjoy it nonetheless. But yeah, that's all my notes for this episode, guys. All my thoughts. What did you think of episode 3 of Star Trek Discovery? Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks again for joining me today, guys. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and have a good one.